Yes. నా పేరు చరణ్.
Well, so very good afternoon to all of you. In the last class, we have studied about laser beam machining. We have seen what are the different parameters which are affecting on the material removal. I said you that in today's class, we are going to study about the characteristics of lasers. In the previous class, we have discussed about CO2 laser, which is a gas laser, and we have discussed about ruby laser, which is a solid state laser. I discussed that in most of the applications we go for few materials. Okay, so what are those materials? I'll just name a few, and then one by one characteristics I will try to explain one by one. Okay, so first of all, we are going to see material. What material we are going to use? That is number one. So I said you that if we can use two types of lasers, one is solid state, another one is gas, but mostly we use ND-YAG type laser, and we use CO2 laser. Okay, so this is number one. Now, what is the type? Type of ND-YAG is solid state. This is a solid state laser, and CO2 is gas laser. Already you know it. Okay. So all the time we are not going to use only CO2. Along with it, I have discussed that we use hydrogen also, we use nitrogen also. Why we use those? Because they will act as coolant. Okay, they will act as coolant, right? Now, so already, you might have understood in previous class that helium, nitrogen, along with this carbon dioxide we use, and the zinc medium is actually CO2, but internal cooling can be done by using helium, nitrogen, or any other gases. Okay, so how they are different from each other? How they are different from each other? So this ND-YAG, I'll discuss about it. You may be not knowing what is ND, what is Y, what is A, what is G. Okay, so I said this will be like an alloy, which will, in case of ruby also I said you already. So this also is comprising of a few combination of few materials. So that anyhow I am going to tell you. Okay, first let us have a look, and then I'll discuss about what is this. Okay, or what is the composition of this. So composition. Let's see the composition. So what happens in this case? We use 1% ND, okay, which is doped in with yttrium, aluminium, and garnet. Yttrium, aluminium, and garnet. Okay. Now, what is this ND? ND is neodymium. What I said? Neodymium or neodymium. What is this? Yttrium. What is this? Aluminium. And this is garnet. So that's the reason why we write ND-YAG. ND-YAG. Okay. So it is a crystal that is used as the lasing medium for solid state lasers, and the dopant is this ND, which is neodymium. Okay, right, and those are it will typically replace a small fraction, that generally it will be 1%. Okay, we are going to use, and this yttrium, aluminum, and garnet, those will be used. Okay, but in case of UV laser, we have discussed that we use chromium. Okay, we use chromium there over there, but here we use neodymium. Okay, and this is something which was discovered in 1964. Okay, and it is very useful, you can say. Okay, and in case of CO2, you know very well, we generally use the combination of CO2, then helium, not hydrogen, helium generally, and nitrogen, as I said. So these will be mixed at 3:8:4 ratio. Or wavelength. So what wavelength we get? We will get somewhere around 1.06 micron in case of NdYAG, and in case of CO2 we are going to get more. It will be somewhere around 10.6 micron. Okay. Now next, next is efficiency. Efficiency of NdYAG is somewhere around 2%, whereas CO2 lasers efficiency will be somewhere in between 10 to 15%. But in the last class, already I have discussed that carbon dioxide laser or CO2 laser efficiency is better. But there are some problem. Why it is better? That also I will tell you. Okay. Uh, and why here efficiency somewhat less, that also I'll tell you in next point. So here what happens, the problem is, already I said, your construction will be on the CO2 gun or CO2 the laser gun, that will be of a bigger size. It may reach up to 100 meters also if you want to get 10,000 kilowatt energy. Okay. So because of that reason, it is somewhat limited in use. So every time it is not possible to use this CO2 laser, but anyhow it will give overall better efficiency. Okay. Then sixth point is beam mode. Okay. So what is beam mode? And this beam mode also is a factor which influences on efficiency. Okay, so NdYAG lasers are pulsed, whereas CO2 here continuous. Okay. So what I said, that NdYAG lasers are used in pulse mode, and this work is generally very important. They can also be used in other modes, but in general they are used in pulse mode, whereas the carbon dioxide laser is used in continuous mode. That means continuous irradiation spot size is generated. Okay, clear? Now you can see the next point, which is our spot size. So spot size will be somewhere around 15 micron, somewhere around 15 micron, whereas in case of CO2 laser, we may get up to 75 micron of spot size. Okay, right? Now, 8th point, pulse rate. So pulse rate in case of CO2 laser, it is not applicable because we are going to use it in continuous way. But here we have to give some pulse. Okay. So how many pulse we can give? 1 to 300 pulse per second. Okay. 1 to 300 pulse per second. Is it clear? And the ninth one is our beam output. Okay, the ninth one is our beam output. So here beam output also will be less. It will be somewhere around 10 to 1000 watt. Already in last class I discussed. But beam output here can be 0.1 to 10 kilowatt. Okay, but size of the laser will be big in this case. Okay, the tenth one is the peak power. So peak power will be somewhere around 400 kilowatt in this case, but here it will be 100 kilowatt. Why it happens? Because in this case we are using pulse mode, and because of that reason we are going to get more peak power. Okay, we are going to get more peak power. Okay. So I hope you people understood this, or you people have noted down. Have you noted down, or shall I wait for a few minutes? Anybody? Anybody? Have you noted down everything?
Sir,
Yes.
sir, can you show again first one from first onwards? 1 to 10 we want, sir.
Yes. 1 to 10. Yes.
This
Now,
1 to 10 first we want to see, sir.
you check. Have a
Yes, sir.
look on it. Now you can see, na?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Note it down. Quick. And in today's class, we are going to finish this LBM part. And with this we'll finish our fourth unit also, and from tomorrow we are going to start the fifth unit, which will deal with where we are going to deal with this plasma arc machining. That is another interesting chapter, plasma arc machining. We will study from tomorrow.
Yeah, completed, sir.
Completed all?
Yes, sir.
Well, now we will move forward to the applications. So we're gonna have a look on application of LBM or laser beam machining. Okay. So first I'll write down, then I'll discuss one by one. Number one, material removal. Okay. So we can go with laser beam drilling, then cutting, then trepanning. Then we can go for LBW, that is laser beam welding, like similar to that electron beam welding. Then we can go for cladding, then alloying, then bending, Then laser drilling, pulse or continuous. So note it down. Okay. So the laser beam can be used for a host of purposes as far as machining is concerned, and it can be used for material removal, which includes drilling, cutting, trepanning. It can be used for cutting. It can be used for many other material processes as well. For example, welding, cladding, alloying, bending, then laser drilling, all these things as you can see over here. Okay. Now, why or how we do this pulsed and continuous? You know very well that in case of continuous, we need to use CO2 laser, and in this case, we can go for in the G type. Okay, already I have discussed it many times. Now, drilling, okay, in drilling, as far as the cutting is concerned, or even trepanning is concerned, should be done using carbon dioxide laser only. Okay, so what I said is drilling CO2 laser, trepanning also CO2 laser only. Because with gas assist, that means there will be a flow of gases. Okay, so we can use this drilling and trepanning, but cutting can be done using CO2, okay, without gas assist as well as with gas assist. Okay, without gas assist as well as with gas assist. So both are possible in case of cutting. Okay, because whenever we are cutting, we are means we need to we need not know about heat affected zone and all, and that require the gas assist, which will enhance the cutting speed. Okay, so if we are using this gas assistance, then the cutting speed will increase, and in this case the cutting speed will be less. I hope you are understanding it. Okay, right? So this is the application. Now, in which application, which laser we have to use? Okay, in which laser, which application, which laser? This is very important. So, if we are making the holes up to 1.5 mm dia, in that case, we can use ruby laser, NdYAG laser, or we can use ND glass laser also. What about trepanning? Or trepanning holes? In this case, we can use CO2. I already mentioned CO2 we can use, but this NdYAG also can be used. Okay, now holes with dia less than 0.25 mm. In that case, once again, we can use all these three lasers: NdYAG, ND glass, ruby laser. So these all we can use. Okay, but drilling and punching, Okay, this is very important part. It may come in exam. So everyone note down. So drilling or punching operation, we use only NDYAG Ruby. Okay, but if we want to have thick cut, we have to use CO2 with gas assist. CO2 with gas assist. If you want to go for thin slitting of work, okay, just note down everyone. Whatever I have written, you note down. Then I'll move forward. I'll some other applications also I'll say. Once you inform me, once you have done, just unmute and say that you have done. Is it done? Completed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now moving to the next part. Do you know what is slitting operation? Huh? So next application is slitting. Thin slitting operation of metals. As well as we can go for thin slitting of plastics. I'll tell you first.
Splitting, sir?
Slitting, SLITTING. Do you know?
No, no, sir.
Then I'll tell you. Just you note down these applications. Then which laser also I'll tell you. Okay. Then only plastics. Okay, which laser? This is very important actually. Okay. Then metals or metallic plates. Then some organic materials, organic organics or which are non-metals. Then ceramics. So in which case which one we use? First I will tell you, then I will tell you what is slitting operation. It is very simple thing. You may not know what is it is called. So if it is thin slitting of metals, then we have to use NDYAG type. If it is thin slitting of plastic, then you have to use CO2 laser. Okay, for plastics, we have to use only CO2 lasers. Right? Now, metals, we can use NDYAG, we can use ruby, we can use ND glass. Okay, clear? Right. Now, in case of organic, this is something which you have to remember. It should be pulsed CO2. I said in general, we will give continuous supply in CO2 kind of laser. But in case of organic or non-metals, you can write non-metals also. We use pulsed CO2 lasers. Okay. In case of ceramic also, we use pulsed CO2 or NDYAG. Right? I hope you have already everything down. So these are a few applications, and in case of which application, which laser we are going to use, that also I have noted here. Right? Now, what is the splitting operation? You might have seen metallic sheet. For example, if this is your metallic sheet, okay, So you have done in your workshop, sheet metal work you have done, right? Already. Now that sheet metal, say it has got width of say W. Now you want it to cut into some pieces. You want that here you will be cutting and here also you will be cutting. Okay, so 3 pieces. So this will be like a W1 and all are equal to W1 or W2, W3, something. So what you do, top and bottom will have a roller knife, okay, which will be placed here, exactly here. It is something like scissor. It will act like a scissor, okay, and that will cut into pieces. This sheet or thin sheet will be cut into some pieces. So I said already in metal also we can do, or metallic sheets already you have seen in the workshop. Even plastic sheets are also possible. So if we are going to cut or we are going to slit, this operation is called a slitting operation. Okay, this cutting operation is nothing but called a slitting operation. So if you are cutting metals, then we are going to use NDYAG laser. If it is plastic sheet, then we have to use CO2 laser. Is it clear to all? I hope it is clear to all. Right. Now, if you have noted everything down, then we will move ahead to the advantages of LBM. Advantages of LBM. Okay. So, number one, we can uh, generate micro holes, which are generally difficult to drill with other processes. Okay, micro holes in what? Very hard to cut metals. Hard to cut materials. So in case of hard to cut materials, generation of micro hole is very difficult, but with the help of laser beam machining or laser beam drilling, it is possible. Okay. Next, though laser processing is thermal processing, but heat affected zone HZ is very less. Okay. Reason heat affected zone is less. Reason, because shorter pulse duration. Okay, right. Now, in this case, there is no physical contact between tool and workpiece. Okay, so there is no machining force involved. No machining force involved. Is it clear? Now, another one thing, large aspect ratio. Large aspect ratio in laser drilling can be achieved. Okay. Not only that, we can also find very good accuracy. Okay. In terms of dimension, form, or location. Okay. Or accuracy is acceptable. It will be in acceptable range. Right? So these are some advantages, right? I hope you people understood. Now, next is limitations. So LBM doesn't have only advantages, it has got some limitations too. What are those? Number one is high initial capital cost. High initial capital cost, because you have to its carbon dioxide is free. Okay, you can get it from nature. It is not that much expensive. But producing laser, you might have seen how much voltage you have to apply. Okay, so you have to bear high capital cost. Not only that, if you invest or high capital, then your work is not going to be over. You have to carry out high maintenance cost also. Okay, maintenance cost in form of energy. You have to like energy or of electricity bill, etc. That will be very high in this case. Okay, right. So in this point of view, we can say like it is not that much efficient enough, or it doesn't have that advantage. Okay, so its advantages are like it can machine almost any material, but if we view from energy point, then it is not very efficient. Okay, so especially if we are going for any gas assisted, like oxygen gas assisted CO2 laser. Okay, so we can say not very efficient process. Okay, now I said that heat affected zone is less because we are using shorter pulse duration. But what happens in CO2 laser? Because in that case we are not going to use pulse. So in case of CO2 laser, especially gas assisted one, we will have more HAZ, which will alter the property of material. Okay, now another one. So this is definitely a thermal process. So not suitable for heat sensitive materials. It is not suitable for heat sensitive materials. I hope you people have put down, okay, everything. So actually this last point, what I mean to say about this heat sensitive material. Let's say for example, you have a heat sensitive material where we have some like resin kind of thing. Okay, where you can like suppose laminate structure you have, and that has to be machined by using laser. So what happens? This laser will be producing high temperature, and because of that, this resin will be eaten away by the high heat, which is not acceptable to us. Okay, so in this case, we can find like okay, this LBM is not having advantage over this kind of materials. Okay, so it is not at all suitable for any heat sensitive material. So to sum up, have you noted down everything? So to sum up, we have already covered in this unit about EBM and LBM equipments, and both works in the principle of melting and vaporization. We have noticed that those two or these two machining processes are thermal erosion process. We have come across the working principle of EBM and LBM equipment. Then we have also drawn the schematic diagram of EBM and LBM. So those are very important. You all practice the diagrams. Then we have studied the mechanism or basic mechanism of material removal, which is melting and vaporization in both of these cases. We have studied the application of EBM as well as LBM. We have also studied the advantages and limitations too. Okay. So, to sum up, I hope you people understood this complete unit. Okay. And anyone has any doubt, you can feel free to ask. Anyone has any doubt?